Ice is never 100% safe, but we'll get down to the basics when it comes to staying above water.
City staff brushed up on their German when they make a trip overseas to talk climate change. This is the February edition of Lake Area Beat. I'm Kurt Friesen. Welcome to Lake Area Beat.
Speaking of ice, we're out at the Wiper Lake Sports Center where we'll be talking about the events and opportunities happening here a bit later. But first,
several people lose their lives nearly every year in Minnesota when they go through the ice, usually in vehicles.
Yes. It's never 100% safe. It is our responsibility to know what's beneath us.
The view of Wiper Lake from up high on this wintry day is proof. The cold months don't stop Minnesotans from stepping out onto the ice for recreation. It's precisely how many of us survive. But there are a few things we can do to minimize the risks. First, check the thickness of the ice. It should be at least 4 inches for walking, 5 to 7 for snowmobiles, 8 to 12 for cars, and 12 to 15 inches for trucks. Make sure to check the thickness every 150 feet. New ice is safer than old, so look for ice that's clear. Carry an ice safety kit that includes ice picks, rope, an ice chisel, and a tape measure. Learn how to use the ice picks if you go through. There are many resources online, and use a rope to help pull someone else out. Always wear a life jacket unless you're in a car. It'll help keep your head above water if you go in and insulate you from cold water. It's also a good idea to check local sources for ice reports. If you're driving in a vehicle, stay off the ice at night, especially if it's snowing. Keep a window rolled down and unlock your doors. The vehicle will stay afloat for a few seconds if it goes through, giving you a chance to get out. Check the DNR's website for more information on vehicle escapes. Stay safe, stay dry, and embrace what remains of the season.
Officials also warn against attempting to rescue your dog if they go through the ice. You should call 911 instead.
So do you like the winter, and do you get to go outside during the winter?
I do. I like the winter. A lot of my time spent in this hockey arena or other local arenas. But we also, as a family, we like to get up to our cabin, go snowmobiling, and do other things outside.
That's
so,
fun.
What about you?
Hockey rink.
Yeah.
Yep.
The go-to.
That's it.
3, 2, 1, jump!
We've got more ice-related updates to tell you about. The 19th annual Polar Plunge took place on White Bear Lake last month, raising nearly $200,000 for Special Olympics of Minnesota.
The plunge has raised nearly $3 million since it began. There are over 30 plunge locations statewide, and the plunge is run until the middle of March.
We're going to take a break, but first, here's Sergeant John Vetty.
Did you know that nearly 1 in 3 Americans has high blood cholesterol, a major risk for heart attack or stroke? I'm Sergeant John Vetty here with tips to getting and staying heart healthy during the month of love. Choosing a few healthy habits can help prevent heart disease. First, start with your diet. Control your portion size and cut out sugary drinks. Eat more vegetables and fruits, and reduce unhealthy fats. Maintain a healthy weight and get regular exercise. Limit your alcohol consumption and don't smoke. Visit heart.org for more information. Wishing everyone a happy and healthy 2020. I'll see you next time.
Nearly 28,000 people were arrested for DWI last year in Minnesota. That's up 4% from 2018. More than 100 people were arrested Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, and nearly 140 people were arrested for DWI over the New Year's holiday.
Thousands of crashes and spinouts have been reported in 2020 as a result of winter driving conditions, mainly because people are driving too fast. So remember to slow down, wear your seatbelt, move over for emergency vehicles. It's the law.
Concerned residents recently met with representatives from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, OSHA, and the Minnesota Department of Public Health to hear updates about the water gremlin facility.
Here's that story.
State agencies held an open house in the most recent in a series of public meetings, bringing citizens up to speed on the latest activities related to water gremlin.
Welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's good to see you all again. A number of you have been at these public meetings that we've had before, I'm sure.
In January of 2019, the Minnesota Department of Public Health began investigating community exposure to a chemical known as TCE used by the company, discovering they'd failed to report accurate emission data for more than 15 years. White Bear Lake resident Lee Thiel, who lives just a quarter of a mile from the water gremlin facility, says she helped form Neighborhood Concerned Citizens Group after learning about the emissions.
Pretty quickly thereafter, we found out that it had been highly excessive amounts of TCE that had been polluted into our neighborhood over the past 15 plus years. And my kids grew up in that neighborhood. They're now 15, and 17. They learned how to walk there, always outside when the plant was in full operation, so that causes a lot of angst.
Minnesota Pollution Control Agency Commissioner Laura Bishop says although the agency has issued one of the largest civil penalties in its history to Water Gremlin, it's their job to bring the company back into compliance, not shut it down.
The MPCA has used every tool in its toolbox to hold Water Gremlin accountable. The MPCA has shut down those companies' operations that violated state law, and state agencies have gone to court demanding that the company take more stringent steps to protect workers, their families, and the environment. The MPCA has issued financial penalties against the company and will again for breaking the public's trust with these latest actions.
Among the packed room sat Water Gremlin employees, frustrated by what they say was an emotional plea by Senator Chuck Weger to hold the company accountable.
Case in point, I'm outraged with the lead exposure. Those kids.
Water Gremlin employee Kevin Castle hopes to get everyone working toward a solution, saying emotionally charged responses hurt, not help.
We want to be able to have our jobs. You're talking about a company that's been around for 70 years. That's a huge legacy. And there have been a lot of people who have raised their children, have had very successful families, have built relationships and families at work. And really, we don't want to lose that.
Thiel says she's learned a lot about how the legislative process works, or perhaps doesn't. And though she has yet to see if her group is making a difference, at least she says the issue is being discussed more than if her group wasn't involved.
It's been an incredible journey, and I know I've made some really good friends throughout this process. If I have to find a silver lining, that is definitely one. I've made some very, very good friends.
The White Bear Lake Sports Center is more than just an arena. We're joined by manager Bruce Bates to tell us what else you can do here. Thank you for being here, Bruce.
Thanks for having me.
Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I grew up in southern Minnesota in Owatonna. Was active in sports in my hometown. I went to the University of Minnesota and started working for the General Mills when I got out of college. And then I went to the city of White Bear Lake, where I worked at the ice arena and the community center there. I was an assistant manager there for a number of years, and then became the manager here at the White Bear Sports Center in January of '92. So I've been here a long time.
Can you tell us what the sports center manager does and how do you get into that line of work?
Sure. I was I wanted to be a teacher in college, and I got into that for a little bit in school, and then I realized that probably wasn't something I really wanted to do. I wanted to coach on the side on my spare time, but I love being in the recreation field, and I went to the School of Recreation, Parks, Leisure Studies. My goal there was to be a park and rec director, and when I got out of school, there weren't really any jobs open there. So anyway, I started at the rink in Minnetonka and really fell in love with it. everybody that comes in the building wants to be here. They're not here to pay their taxes. They're not here because they're in trouble. They're here because they want to be here or their kids having fun skating. So what we do, I schedule all the ice activities, the racquetball activities, the training space at the far end of the building. I hire all of our staff, including full-time and part-time staff. We have 2 full-time staff, 2 regular part-time staff, and then probably 15 seasonal or part-time people. I do maintenance. I just drove the Olympia, or Zamboni as many people call it. We order supplies. The city also gave us a couple other responsibilities a few years ago in the White Bear Armory, and also now the Boatworks as well. So we take care of those 3 facilities.
Wow. So what is it that you do mostly? What would you say that you spend most of your days doing?
Majority of my day is probably scheduling, answering phone calls, emails. People are inquiring about rentals, not only of this building, but also the Armory and the Boatworks as well.
And what do you like most about doing this job?
I
like it because you've been here.
I've been here forever, as a lot of people tell me. I love the people. I love the people in White Bear. I love who I work with, Charlie and Missy and Amy and all my part-time guys. I have part-time guys that have worked for me for 12, 14 years, and we're not only co-workers, but we're good friends, and we spend time away from work as well. And I think that says a lot about our staff here. So that's why I'm still here.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the building?
Sure. The building was the Towsley facility. It was a tennis facility and racquetball, and the Towsley family sold the building, and the city and the Hockey Association partnered, but the city bought the facility in '89, converted it to an ice arena. That was October of '89. We just last year, or in 2018, did a remodel. We spent over $5 million on the remodel. And the biggest project there was replacing the rink floor and all the mechanicals for that. And it was very expensive to do so. All the lights, insulation, roof, siding, etc., went into that project, including bathrooms and furnaces and other HVA equipment. We have a much better ventilation system now than we had before, so our air quality is far superior than it was before as well.
And we're running out of time, but we want to get to all the things that this building houses. It's not just hockey, even though it looks like it might just be hockey behind us, but there's hockey, there's skating, figure skating. What else do you do here?
There's open skate. We have open hockey for adults. That's going to take place right here. It happens over the noon hour. We also have racquetball courts. We have racquetball and volleyball. Volleyball is a real popular co-ed activity. We have regular groups that play here all winter, and men's groups as well. There's also at the far end, there's kind of a dry land training area for hockey players. They can shoot the puck down there. It's fully enclosed. There's weightlifting down there as well.
And rentals? It's available for rentals?
Rentals, yeah.
Available for
the ice rink is always open to the public. The racquetball, volleyball courts are open to the public. We host birthday parties for kids as well. That's become a very popular activity. The area up above, we lease that out to the Hockey Association. That's run by them directly.
And you have like a meeting room or something?
Oh yes, we do. We do have a small meeting room up front that people can use for. We do have some businesses that use it for interviews, but that's probably our most popular spot for birthdays for little kids.
Okay. Wow. Sounds great. And for people in the community who haven't checked it out, what would be a draw? What would be a reason they should come in? If they don't have kids that are playing hockey, why would they come here?
Well, we have open skating sessions weekday mornings, 9 to 11. Also open skate on Sunday afternoons. If you just want to come in, you can rent skates from us. That's kind of unique. A lot of facilities don't rent skates. We have them. Also, if you just want to come and watch a game, so we just hosted a pretty large tournament for the association last week. Teams from out of state. Oh, did you? Great.
I did, yeah.
We also have some major figure skating events, one in December, the first weekend in December, and then our annual ice show is the end of April. And that's, the whole building is transformed. We have professional lighting, music, the whole rink is decorated, and that's basically a dance recital on ice, basically.
Nice.
If you can coin that phrase. So.
And so that's coming up in April, so people should look out for that.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. We're going to take a break, but coming up,
White Bear Lake is well represented abroad when a team heads overseas to talk climate change.
Some White Bear Lake delegates traveled to Germany as part of an exchange program to talk about climate change.
The group returned with lots of enthusiasm about reducing White Bear Lake's carbon footprint. We sat down with a couple of delegates who say the experience also established new relationships with their German counterparts. Here's more.
We are so lucky, our partner city, Ludenscheid.
Yeah, they're great.
We just hit it off it's like we've been friends forever.
During a busy week of meetings and tours in Ludenscheid, Germany, White Bear Lake delegates absorbed the climate-conscious culture of the city.
This town of 7,500 that has turned this energy park, they have wind, solar, and biofuel.
As part of the Climate Smart program through the University of Minnesota, White Bear Lake was the only metro city to be included in the exchange, paid for by the German government. Mayor Joe Emerson and City Manager Ellen Heinecker, along with council members Kevin Edberg and Doug Bean, made the trip last fall. Though maintaining a busy schedule, Emerson and Heinecker say they walked away feeling energized.
You know, the possibilities are endless with this. I mean, if you come into it with an open mind, I think, you know, instead of saying, well, we can't do that, you know, explore it and see if we can, maybe we can't do something. But I think if we come into it and just think the possibilities are endless, we can do it.
Right.
Both women say they were impressed by the efficiency of the region, which uses solar and wind energy while using glass instead of plastics. A way of life that's second nature, while their governing bodies collectively make climate conservation a priority.
And what's astounding about that is they were
And they're
able to...
different parties,
They have,
so-
was it 5 parties, I
Yeah,
believe?
5
They have 5
parties. There's
parties on their council. And
should-
their plan was accepted unanimously. And you can imagine there's a very, divergent views within a body of 50 people.
Since returning, the delegation has formed a group of residents and business owners, the steering committee, which will soon develop a climate action plan for the city. Emerson and Heinecker have already witnessed a snowball effect, seeing local businesses and the school district getting involved, and conversations being started with the community. They say the possibilities for partnerships have them excited.
It's like, this is what's bringing us together. And then from there, there's other completely unexpected opportunities that we have without staying right within the walls of our buildings, and really collaborating with the communities.
Through the exchange of ideas, both say relationships were built with the German people, while fears and judgments were broken down, realizing there's a universal truth which brings us together rather than dividing.
There's less room to make judgments that are uninformed, because you've met people who live in all sorts of areas, recognizing we're all just part of the human race trying to figure it out.
That's all the time we have for this one's show. But in keeping with the theme of ice, here's another ice-related story uncovered in our archives.
Thanks for watching this edition of Lake Area Beat. We'll see you next time.
That ice is pretty thick.
Don't put yourself in a spot where you're risking your life or the life of someone else. If you don't know the lake, if you've never been on the lake, it's not a time to go out for a joyride.
Ice fishing is a pastime that helps many Minnesotans survive long winters, but nearly every year people die after falling through ice. 4 people died last winter, including a 9-month-old baby. The Ramsey County Sheriff's Department's Water Patrol functions as a rescue unit and conducts drills during winter.
If he doesn't respond, maybe he's frozen to the ice, maybe he's beyond response.
Deputy and diver Mike Servatka says rescuers must be ready when a call comes in. People who go through ice have little time before they lose dexterity.
So we have to respond quickly. We got to be ready. You're looking at 5 to 10 minutes the minute you get the call that you have to get there and get in the water and rescue a person.
The suits divers wear are buoyant and cumbersome. It's hard to move around in and on top of the water, but they're warm and keep divers dry. In addition to emergency calls, divers are on site during special events.
We're in the hole at the Polar Bear Plunge in case there's that one person who might not be able to get out due to the cold, and we just want to ensure everybody's safety and have a fun event. I think everybody here will attest that we really enjoy working the Polar Bear Plunge.
Servatka says even though ice may be thick, there are still soft spots where cars go through. He says it's a good idea to call local bait shops or the Sheriff's Department to check thickness and danger spots. He says staying off during bad weather is also a good idea.
Like today, you can see the weather's pretty bad. The weather's bad, there's another reason not to be out there. We got a lot of people that like to ice fish, and they kind of pick the wrong time maybe to go out there, and they put themselves in danger. Mine's so
Oops, I lost it. Sorry.
Had either of you been to Germany before?
She had.
I had. I actually, when I was in college, I lived there for a semester. So, yeah, but my German...
Her German was a little weak.
Yeah,
just saying.
let's just say that I was not a contributor with any interpretations. It was a lot of years ago. 3, 2...
Just let him go by. I knew the puck hit the boards behind us, so.
Well, I loved it because I'm half German, so then, and then as it turned out, the part of East Prussia where my grandmother came from got assimilated into Poland after World War II, but a lot of people from that area emigrated to the area we were in.
Right.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. I was getting a history lesson too, which was kind of neat.
What's beneath us?
Holy buckets, that was a lot.
It was going quick. It was going super fast.
It was so fast.
I saw you were going to Jess. I was like, don't touch it. I think I got it.
Big words.